we decided after a lot of thought to give him a conditional second chance. So collectively and individually, our initial reaction after the suspension was because domestic violence is so clearly unacceptable as a behavior, a pattern of behavior, and because it's such a plague on society, our initial reaction was just to move on. That's not something we want to be connected with. To separate ourselves from it and sort of solve it by creating as much distance as possible. And then, the more we considered all perspectives and all factors, and the more we dug in, and once we were able to do our own research and investigation after MLB issued its discipline, we started to consider some other arguments as well. First of all, that this happened on our watch. That Addison's been in the organization since he was 20 years old. That we were certainly quick to celebrate his triumphs, and that separating ourselves from him as quickly as possible at his lowest point was maybe not a comprehensive solution to the issue. Two, we realized that Addison needed a lot of help, an awful lot of help, to get his life on track, to bring stability to his life and to his relationships, to grow as a person and put himself in a position that this pattern would not repeat itself going forward. Third of all, in talking to many domestic violence experts personally and as an organization, we learned, and this was new to me, that domestic violence experts do not believe in zero tolerance. They do not believe in moving on or termination after the first domestic violence incident. And what they do believe in is a second chance, conditionally, a second chance if the offender is willing to put the work in and grow and do the difficult work of stabilizing his life and relationships and growing so this doesn't happen again. Fourth, I was engaged with Addison Russell, the victim, who deserves our support every bit as much, if not more, than Addison, given the circumstances. And she was supportive of our decision, as long as it was truly a conditional second chance. She felt like this was Addison's best chance to get his life in order, to get support from us, with the incentive of earning his way back to the Cubs and to have his career. And last, I think we saw it as an opportunity to try to improve the organization when it comes to domestic violence. This happened here. We are taking steps in order to, and domestic violence experts say you can never say it'll never happen again. You can never say that. It can never happen here. But we can do everything we can to try to make this the safest possible workplace, the healthiest possible workplace, so that it has as little chance as possible of ever happening again here. And that includes expert training for those who face the players, those who run the family program, 40 hours of domestic violence training so they can be experts in detection and awareness and prevention. And so all those factors led us to decide to dig in and try to do a little bit of good for Addison, if he's willing to put the work in. Do a little bit of good for Melissa, continue to support her. Try to make the organization a little bit better, a little bit safer place, and try to do our small part in helping to attack the broader problem. And so where that leaves Addison is with a conditional second chance if he took accountability for his actions publicly and privately, which he did. If he became fully compliant with MLB's discipline and treatment program, which he has from day one. And it's a real treatment program, extensive. It's not a token at all. If he sought additional help, which he did on his own, finding his own therapist and meeting with him 4 or 5 times a week, which continues to this day and will continue long after the mandated treatment is over. If he had spotless behavior, and hold him to the highest possible standard of conduct with himself, his partners, his relationships in the organization, then he could earn his way back into possibly playing a game again for the Chicago Cubs. So where does that leave him now? It leaves him on the restricted list in the middle of a Major League Baseball mandated suspension. He's not at Cubs convention. We have a club policy that anyone who's on the restricted list does not attend. It applies to Oscar De La Cruz as well as Addison Russell. Per the Major League domestic violence joint agreement, he will be in spring training as long as he continues to meet these standards. He will be a full participating member in spring training, including games, as long as he continues to put the work in necessary. And then he will, when we break for camp, he will serve the rest of his suspension. And then we are going to take it one day at a time. If he continues to meet the high standards we've laid out for him, put the work in, he will be eligible to return to the Cubs.